Gonna work a problem here. It's intended from a student. So we're trying to find out what the different parts of the make sure that's on. What these different equations are for these different parts of the piecewise function. So what's helpful is to identify the different points. So we have here, it looks like it's a -6, -5 up here. And then down here looks like it's a -2, -1. And then down here, this line was already found by the student, but this point is -2, -2, and it goes over to 1, -2. And then this point down here is at it's a +1. So we have 1, -3, and then that goes up forever. So you got to find some other point in here, like there. And we'll call that point 3, 2. Did I choose the wrong pen type? Okay. I'm going to call this L1. This is L2 and L3. So for L1, we have, let's find the slope. And that slope is going to be -1 minus -5 over -2 minus -6. So that's -1 minus -5. Oh, that's actually +5. Oops. -1 minus 5 is -6 over -2 minus -6 is +4. So we get -3/2 is our slope. So now we use the point slope formula. It doesn't matter which point we use, I'll use the lower point. So y minus the y1 is, in this case, -1 equals 3/2 times x minus the -2. So we have y plus 1 equals negative, and that was a -3/2. -3/2 times x plus 2. So y plus 1 equals -3/2 x. And -3/2 times 2 is -3. So if we subtract 1 from each side, we'd have y equals -3/2 x minus 4. So this should be -3/2 x minus 4. That second one is a horizontal line. It's already been identified. It's just x equal, or y equals -2. In this case, we're saying f of x instead of y. So let's look at L3. So L3, we have the 2 points we identified as 3, 2, and 1, -3. So we can do 2 minus -3 over 3 minus 1. That's 5/2. So we have y minus, I'm just going to pick a point. I'll go with that higher point, the 3, 2. So y minus 2 equals 5/2 times x minus 3. So that's not going to be a pretty one because of those fractions, but it's what it is. So y minus 2 equals 5/2 x minus 15/2. And if we add the 2, we have y equals 5/2 x. So that's going to be 4/2, so it's minus 11/2. And if we were to project that down, I feel like something's wrong there. Just double checking my work here. So we have 2 minus a -3. Then we have 3 minus the 1. That's our 5/2. Then y minus 2 is 5/2 is the slope times x minus the 3. It's 15 halves. Okay, I guess that's right. That's 5.5. So I mean, this, if you were to project this line down, it's going to be probably coming down to that area. Okay, so I guess that's right. So this would be 5 halves x minus 11 halves. And that's the problem. Hope that helps.